Hey guys, Weep here. Welcome back to another video by VarietyMMOs. So today's video is going to cover 7 tips to help you get ahead in Phantasy Star Online 2. So these 7 tips are to be used in conjunction with my 10 noob mistakes to avoid and 10 things I wish I knew. Combining these 3 videos together will give you a solid idea of the game and save you many hours I, myself, friends and clanmates messed up on the first time round. So hopefully all these tips combined will give you a much more enjoyable experience than some of us had messing up our accounts. So the first tip we're going to be talking about is ships. So some people probably think that ship selection isn't as important, but it is. So think of a ship as a world in any other mmorpg. Basically, whatever world that you go to, you're pretty much locked into. And because Sega doesn't offer transfers right now, once you select a ship, that character is stuck on that ship. You can delete it, sure, but effectively you're stuck on that ship with that particular character. So in here we have 6 ships, as you can see. So ship 1 and ship 2 are very high population. Ship 2 was the ship that all the veterans were on in Japan. So that's where many of them went. So in 1 and 2, especially 2, expect to have a lot of people that have played the game for many years and understand the market extremely well. So if you're coming to the game new and trying to make money off the market, may not work so well in number 1 and 2 because there are many people there who quite frankly know better than you and know the future updates. So they'll always be able to anticipate the markets and make more money and kind of mess with you if you try to do that. So ship 3 has a lower population. On the PC release, there'll be many more people, so it really shouldn't be a problem. So, the difference between these 3 ships here and ship 4, 5, 6 is that 4, 5, and 6 are not available to Xbox players. And as I mentioned a moment ago, you cannot teleport between ships. So, there's no transfers right now. So, if you start on 4, 5, 6, and these do indeed open with PC on the 27th, which we believe they will, you will get a fresh start. And because nobody can transfer, there will be fresh markets, everybody will be a fresh level 1. So if you want a brand new start with all the other PC players, I would highly recommend going to ship 4, 5, and 6. Generally, you would have to worry about a population issue, because out of any MMOs, as I'm sure you're aware, people quit, and then the latest server's population go down, and it's a bit of an issue. And with no server transfers, that could potentially be an issue later on, so keep that in mind. But for the old experience and to catch up quickly, 1, 2, or 3. For the brand new experience, go to 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so I am personally on ship 2, so let's go in here. Okay, open up. So as you can see there, I have 3 characters on ship 2. And any characters that are on the same ship, so 3 characters on ship 2, they can actually trade between each other, and things like titles and achievements carry over between all of your characters. So you don't actually have to play 3 characters from scratch, and they do help each other out in quite big ways. So the other part of this tip is this portal here, which is in the main gate area. If you go over to the block transport and you scroll down here, ignore this. This is because I am in kind of a dead zone where all the Americans are asleep right now, so it doesn't seem like a lot. But even on Xbox launch, all of these lines were completely full all the way down, and every server was extremely laggy. But this basically says you can go to any of these blocks, which is a clone of this block here. And you have to be on the same block generally to party up with people. Okay, so tip 2. Check your items. So what I mean by this is that many people see stars and they don't pick up an item. For example, on your basic settings, so if you go into the option menu, go to game settings and then go to settings, and go down to here, you have display rare drop animations. So basically, there's a big box that comes up, and it's like, rare item, and it comes up in rainbow text. You can set this so the item has to be a certain level. So think of stars as rating. So above 7-star rating, it'll come up with a rainbow text, pick me up kind of notification. However, if you set this to 10, which I would recommend, only items level 10 and above will show that text, so you'll know when you've got a rare item. If you have it on 7 or greater, honestly, you're going to have rainbow text on your screen just about all the time, and it's quite frankly annoying. So I would set that to 10. So in here, we have other things like Automester, In here we have you automatically pick up a weapon if it's above rank 13. So make sure that you look through these settings right here because they are quite valuable. Okay, so now that we've talked about picking up the items and the rare items, I would always suggest that you pick up armor pieces. So let's go into my all storage and go to my armor. So if we go down here and go to sort by rarity. So you'll see here that this has a lot of stars. And you'll probably think, oh, this is a rare item. It come up red. It's giving me blinkers. Awesome item. Yes, it's definitely worth picking up and checking out. But on the flip side, people see an item that doesn't come up and they're like, well, this doesn't have a lot of stars. I'm going to throw this away because it's worthless. Hold right there. That's not how this is done. So you'll see down here that this here is an 8-star. So you probably think, well, this isn't worth anything. Incorrect. So when it comes to armor, what's not important is not the stars. While they are important, that's not the main thing. It's these lines of text down here. Because you're able to transfer lines of text to other armor, it makes them extremely valuable, which I won't go into because it's a fully complicated explanation. But basically, the more lines of text you have, the more valuable an item is. So if we go back up here and change to number of augments, you'll see here that I have 6 for this one. That means this is extremely valuable, and it goes up to 8. So the more, pick up your armor no matter what rarity it is, check how many augments it has, check if it's a good one, and if it has 1 or 2 augments, just toss it. Even if it has like a 9-star rating, just get rid of it, you don't need it. But if it has, say, 7 or 8, even if it's a low star, make sure that you take it with you. This is a good way of not over-encumbering and holding too many items, because this game really is about inventory management. So make sure that you don't take too many items, but at the same time don't waste these, because these will be your biggest money making items in the game. They are really that valuable. Okay, so let's talk about the map and the quick menu. So this will be a quick one. So if you click select on the controller, you'll bring up the quick menu, and you'll have a bunch of things in here like macros, perform emotes, nearby characters, so you can see their characters and you can select them and have a look at all the information and whatnot. But you also have down here, you can change the camera and a lot of other helpful things. You can also get into this by pushing start on the controller or escape on the keyboard. And coming down here and going into the quick menu. So this will open up the quick menu. This will also allow you to place down party beacons so you can recruit people extremely fast. Quite frankly, if you put down a party beacon before somebody else does, you're more likely to get party members, so getting XP boosts. So it really is quite useful using. The other thing that I want to talk about is down here, the show map. So if you're following my guides, you're probably accelerating through the game pretty quickly. Hopefully you have been talking to the NPCs that I do mention, because it's very important to learn about the game and not just clear through it. Quite frankly, I've seen too many people at level 75 not know where basic NPCs are, and it makes me major facepalm. So if you go down here and just look for their name, it'll give you a highlighted area to tell you where they are, just in case you forget where your NPCs are. Quite helpful for new players. So let's talk about classes. So if we go into here and go to character information, go down to classes, you'll see that I am currently max level on all classes. This took quite a lot of hours, I will admit. So what I want to talk about is some of the questions I'm already getting right at the beginning of some of my videos. Is people are already messaging me asking me, what class should I play? I do intend to do a video on this, and I will talk about this in length, but I want to talk about it in this video in the way that all classes are viable. So the game doesn't use a trinity system, as in tank, DPS, heals. It's not that strict, and any class can tank in a way, heal in a way, or DPS in a way. And most classes are self-sufficient in one way or another. So feel free to play any class, because this game is less about, can I beat a dungeon? It's more about, okay, I can beat the dungeon in 5 minutes, but somebody else beat it in 4.5. Now I want to beat it in 4. It's more about clearing the content as quick as possible, rather than being able to actually clear the content. That's where the challenge comes in. There is content later in the game that is more difficult, which will be more of a struggle, but right now you can play pretty much any build and get through any type of content as a casual player, which I think is really important, so anybody can have fun with their own playstyle rather than being forced into a specific meta class or meta build, which we all know is pretty annoying. Okay, so let's talk about guilds. So we'll talk about this one really quickly. So if you go up here to the menu over here, you can search for guilds. This is the guild administrator. And you want to join a guild for, honestly, one reason. So I know a lot of people probably just rolled their eyes at me when I said join a guild. Believe me, I understand. I was lucky enough to join one of the top alliances currently available. And because many active people are in this alliance, they farmed AP. We'll talk more about AP later in the video, but AP is used to upgrade your base, basically. Think of it as guild contribution. And this guild contribution is used to upgrade your alliance and upgrade your tree. Please note, it's also used to water your tree. So you have to keep getting guild contribution and spending it for the tree to stay active. Otherwise, it'll go dead and you can't use it. But when you go up and hit a tree, you'll see here 20% attack up, 20% defense up, 10% XP, 30% extra gold, and 10% drop rate. These, I believe, last for either 90, I think it's like 80 or 120 minutes. It's somewhere around there, so they do last quite a while. But as you can see, plus 20% attack, that is massive. Please note that this is a fully upgraded tree, so your buffs are not going to be this large initially. So either join a large guild or start a guild early on and start upgrading this. It's not really viable doing this as a solo in a guild. You do need other people, by the way. Okay, so there are a couple other things in the guild, but the tree is definitely the most important thing. Okay, so let's go back to the gate lobby and talk about character storage. So, as I mentioned earlier, this game's problem is inventory management. Many people will either do one of two things. They either won't pick up their items because they have too many items, or they'll be a hoarder and never be able to figure out what items you want to keep and which ones you want to get rid of. So here is a way to get a bit more inventory space as a free-to-play player. So when you go into your storage here and you go store items, you'll notice that I have default storage, character storage, premium storage, material storage, and extra storage is down here. So the storages that we're going to be looking at are default and character storage. So your default and my premium storage, this storage is used for all my characters on this ship. So if I log in on another character on ship 2, I can access my premium and my default storage. However, the character storage is specific. I believe without upgrading, the character storage is about 300. So assuming that it's 300, if you make 2 other characters, which are free by the way, you can trade items over by logging onto the other character and putting it into their character storage. So each of your other 2 characters will be able to hold 300 each for a total of 600 extra storage. So you would put items in here like items that you don't want to use yet, like, you know, armor that you're going to use to transfer items or whatnot later. Trust me when I say an extra 600 inventory space, even though it's a bit annoying logging to your ults, is invaluable. And I cannot stress how important it is to use your inventory management skills to their maximum. Okay, so let's talk about guild AP. So as I mentioned earlier, you need guild AP, which is basically guild contribution, to not only upgrade your guild, but also to upgrade your tree and to water your tree so you can keep getting buffs. There are 2 main ways to do this. One is you can go to the casino, which you can get by hitting select, and it looks like you can't actually go to the casino through here. But if you go into that portal down there, you can go into the casino. Basically, you just play slots, and you can play for 2 to 3 hours and get your max AP for the week. You can see that by going into your alliance commands and going into here and seeing your information. The method that I would suggest though is going over to the quest counter, going down to subquests, go to arc quests, and go to suppressed Zoldan. Basically, this is a very small map that requires you to kill 6 weak monsters. And there's 2 ways to do this. You can do this as a group where you run in and split up and just kill these 6 weak monsters and they get some AP, go out, and then go back in as fast as possible. Or you can have 3 guildmates AFK while 1 person just goes in there and does it themselves. If you're doing it with other people, it'll probably take you 20 to 30 minutes. If you're doing this solo, it'll probably take about 45 minutes a week to max your AP. I cannot stress how important it is to max your guild AP for your guild and for yourself. So please make sure that you do this. If you are playing actively and you're doing dungeons and leveling up classes and whatnot, you won't have to do this because you've got the AP naturally. But for those people that don't have quite enough time in the week, do this method to support your guild. Okay, that covers the 7 tips for today's video. Hopefully all of the tips with the 3 videos combined will give you a much more pleasant experience while avoiding the mistakes that I personally made. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.